So in today's video, I'm going to discuss some words which could possibly be used to describe a senior scientist, a research supervisor, a professor, a school teacher, a headmaster, or so on. So again, instead of using some profanities to describe these people, if you do not like them, it's a better idea to use some of these words to describe people, and they may also give you an insight into the particular type of person you are dealing with. So let me start with the word martinet. And martinet is a strict disciplinarian. So this is somebody who is very strong in terms of his or her beliefs about discipline. So let's make a sentence out of this. Mrs. Smith, my math class teacher, was a martinet. She did not tolerate the frivolous excuses made by her students for not submitting their homework. So again, that is an example of the use of the word martinet. Now the next word is jovial, and that means cheerful and friendly. That's Jovial. So I'll make a sentence with this. Sundar was fortunate to have a jovial PhD supervisor. The next word is saturnine, and saturnine means gloomy or somber. So the sentence I have here is John was reluctant to tell his PhD supervisor that his paper had been rejected because of his saturnine nature. So again, this is something which can happen. So if a person is saturnine, which means he is gloomy, giving him negative feedback may make him really depressed, and you may not want to do that. The next word is draconian. So we are dealing with all kind of difficult words here today. Draconian basically means somebody who is too harsh and severe. So we can frame a sentence with this. Dr. Chang was draconian in terms of giving grades. Most students in his class got C and D grades, and many failed the subject. But they had to take his class as it was a compulsory subject. So again, this is something which can happen. The next word is peculiar. And peculiar basically means different from what is normal or expected or strange. So good way to remember peculiar is to think about Dr. Strange. So let's frame a sentence with this. When Ram decided to pursue his PhD, his family members thought that he was very peculiar. So again, this is something which people consider when somebody tries to do a PhD degree, because that's not a typical beaten track career path. Now the next word on my list is benign, and benign essentially means to be gentle and to be a kindly person. So again, you are lucky if you have a benign or a benevolent supervisor or a professor. But again, I will use it in a somewhat different sense. So let's frame a sentence like this. Dr. Banerjee had a philosophy of benign neglect for guiding PhD students. John liked this style since he was a self-motivated researcher. So again, this is something which can happen, and this is a policy some people use in terms of guidance. Now the next word is fastidious, and fastidious is somebody who focuses a lot on detail to the extent of probably too much. So let's frame a sentence with this. My PhD supervisor was fastidious that the font size in all the figures should be 12 point Times New Roman. I had to spend a lot of time in correcting the paper to satisfy his fastidious nature. So again, this is something which can happen, that you have written a paper in some different font and then your supervisor tells you to change all these figures in terms of the font, and that can be a lot of work, but you may need to do so. Now the next word on my list is quaint. That's Quaint, and this basically means unusually old fashioned, but in a nice sort of way. So it has a subtle connotation of something which is old fashioned or old school, but which has a certain charm to this particular situation. So let's create a word for this. Professor King wore suspenders and a bow tie during the presentation. Many of his students found him to be very quaint, but some considered him to be a dinosaur. So again, this can take place. Next word I have is narcissist. A narcissist is a person who basically displays self-love. That is, such a person generally thinks the world functions around him and he is the center of the world. So that's something which many people are. Now, a second word is neurotic. And a neurotic is a person with self-doubt. So this is a psychological word, and you can consider it to be a word which means a long-standing tendency to be in a negative or anxious state. So again, the interesting thing is that many successful researchers, and in fact many successful people, are neurotic narcissists. So the narcissism helps them to develop a shell around themselves through which they can cope with rejection and they can develop resilience. But the neurosis forces them to keep producing more creative work and to keep doing things so that they can actually show that they are very good. So this particular combination is often very useful, though it may not make the person very pleased with themselves, but it leads to a lot of productivity. The next word on my list is vainglorious. And this is somebody who has too much pride in themselves or thinks too much of themselves. So we can create a sentence for this. Some scientists become vainglorious as they get more and more prizes. So again, this is something which can take place. Next word on my list is teetotaler. And teetotaler is a person who never drinks alcohol or wine or anything like that. In contrast, there is a certain different type of person called bacchanalian. And this is a person who likes to drink wine, drink alcohol, whiskey, and so on. So somebody who worships the god Bacchus, who is related to drinks. So let's create a sentence out of this. The bacchanalian Dr. Smith found it difficult to like the company of the teetotaler Dr. Mahmood. So again, probably they went to a conference and they had different tastes in terms of drinks and wine, and that didn't go very well. The next word on my list is persnickety. And this is somebody who places too much emphasis on trivial and minor details. So in a way it's similar to fastidious, but this word has a more negative connotation. So this word is, to some extent, it means fussy. So maybe a person is persnickety about his food choices and things like that. But let us use it in a more scholarly context. So we can say that Dr. John was persnickety regarding the documents which came out of his lab. He wanted computer-read documents to be in Calibri 14-point font and printed documents to be in Times New Roman 12-point font. So again, this is a persnickety person and would probably cause a lot of extra work for his student and staff. The next word is cantankerous. So again, it sounds like a problematic word, and it is. So it basically means a bad-tempered person who is generally negative, does not want to cooperate with people, and so on. So let's make a sentence out of this word. Students were scared of the cantankerous Dr. Chang being in their PhD committee. He had failed several students in their PhD defense and was a terror in the department. So again, that's a possible use of a word such as cantankerous. And maybe if you encounter a cantankerous person, you need to maintain a large distance from them. The next word on my list is curmudgeon. And this also is a bad-tempered person, but it has the extra connotation of being an old person also. So again, this is something which can happen to people, maybe because of the aches and pains which come with old age. So people become cranky. So let's create a sentence with this. Who would have thought that the jovial Mr. Smith would have become a curmudgeon later in his life? So again, this is something which can happen to people. So again, these are some words which you can use to describe people. Maybe you have seen professors, supervisors, researchers, school teachers, tutors with such temperament. And so now you have a vocabulary with which you can describe them, and you do not need to use any profanities when you want to describe such people. So I hope you enjoyed this video and it improved your vocabulary. Thank you very much.